Okay, hello everyone. This is Ashutosh here. I'm Vice Chairman of Indian Entrepreneurs Forum. So I will give you just a bit of glimpse of what exactly IEF is, and then we are going to start with this Inder Talk episode one, insights into health tech with Mr. Nikhil Baheti. So I will hand this over to Sanjay to take it forward. IEF is all about it's a non-profit organization which is started, let's say, last year, but this organization has been in place since 2008 with a different name. The overall aim of this organization is to basically support, guide the young and budding entrepreneurs and business enthusiasts. So we are trying our best in order to help people in order to go into a market and understand what they can really do. We have a very good team of experts in different areas and different domains. We have growth gurus, management coaches, and as well as different entrepreneurs in different fields, technologists. Not only this, philanthropists and as well as venture capitals in order to help help the people who approaches us. We have also a pretty big network of different companies and different MNCs whom we can really help you to pitch in your ideas and discuss with them what is possible and what is not possible. So this is a bit about what IEF is. Now I would like to hand over to Miss Pallavi Mishra. She is a country head of FICCI, and she's going to speak a few words about what FICCI is and what is her vision and what exactly people are doing there. So yeah, up to you, Miss Pallavi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you, Ashutosh. Am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Greetings, everyone. It is my pleasure to speak to you today at this virtual exchange. It's a very good initiative. I must congratulate Indian Entrepreneurs Forum and thank you for associating with us in this initiative. Some of you might know, but I will just say a few words about FICCI. Uh, FICCI is the full form of FICCI is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We were established in 1927. We are the voice of India's in business and industry. We represent over 250,000 companies across India with the help of 75 sector-specific verticals. I'm happy to share that today's guest is also a FICCI member. We are headquartered in New Delhi. We have 15 offices in India and 9 internationally to enable global industry outreach. Our current president is Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, who is also a global healthcare influencer. Since we don't have a lot of time, I would just like to keep it very short. But before I finish, I would like to highlight two webinars that we have done among many others in recent past. And these two webinars were received with a lot of enthusiasm. These two webinars were focused on, the first one was focused on medical technology sector. And the second one was focused on technologically enabled healthcare delivery. Since these two are very related to what we are going to talk about, so I thought it would be a good idea to share with you that the exchanges and the participation were of such excellent quality that I feel so encouraged to share with you that this sector possesses incredible potential to explore further. So with these words, I wish you all a wonderful exchange. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Ballaviji, for this nice introduction of FICCI and all what you have said here. Yes, I think this is a very interesting area which is growing and emerging, especially in these tough times. So, not taking much time, I will hand over to Sanjay and as well as Nikhil in order to take this conversation ahead and discuss about insights into health tech. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, Namaste. This is Sanjay. I am managing partner of Longhouse Partners in Munich. It is a consulting company which offers Indo-German startups a good platform to have incubation and to grow their startups. So we look ourselves as an enabler. We are working closely together with the local Chamber of Commerce as well as you just just saw, FICCI. And I'm very thankful to Pallaviji for joining this session today. This is not our first online session, but this is the first online session of a new activity which we have started called Inder Talk. Inder Talk, it's a word game of in Gespräch means remain in conversation or remain in dialogue, as well as Inder means Indian. So it gives a kind of light mood to this conversation, which we want to keep it as light as possible. So we would like to know from different entrepreneurs of leaders of the industry, as well as startups, entrepreneurs who are in Germany already doing some Indo-German business, as well as people who are interested in getting to know how the German market works, and German startups who want to venture into India by means of a partnership or by means of venturing into these markets like India. Since India is a vast market and there are so many initiatives being done all over the world, including the Chamber of Commerce, which is placed there, and also, as you just heard, FICCI, who has started a chapter in Germany, especially, which I very much welcome, and I appreciate that this is there as a partner where you can, contact and get more information. I feel that such platforms are required more and more because India is a vast country and a very diverse country. So we need to know from different sectors and from different sides how we can work together. So today's intention of bringing this platform called Inder Talk will be a regular platform which we will venture into different verticals, different industry sectors, and get interesting people to discuss with us about how their journey until now has been, and how they would like to see this kind of activity in working together with, say, German industry, or getting to know the German industry, because there could be similarities as well as complementary issues which we can actually learn from, and this is today's main intention. So I would like to welcome Nikhil, who is a computer science engineer from BITS Pilani, and he comes with a vast experience of working in MNCs like Oracle and unicorn startup like Dhruva. And he's the co-founder and leading product strategy data science manager of MedCords, which is a very interesting startup. I would say maybe it's not a startup anymore. We would like to listen from you. And basically is going to deal with a very interesting subject called healthcare. So, I mean, it'll be an open conversation. If you guys have any from the audience, if you have questions, please raise your hand or write it in the chat window so that we can take those up at the end of the session or also in between. It is very interesting to have this gentleman, Mr. Nikhil Baheti, here on board, because the healthcare system in India is such a big thing, and in Germany also it's one of the most important and richest. So people say that Germany has a very big and really good healthcare system where people feel safe. So we would like to know from you, Nikhil, how is it in India? And I would like to request you to first of all introduce yourselves and MedCords to the audience. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. First of all, thanks a lot, Sanjay and Ashutosh, for having me. And, was very happy to hear Ms. Pallavi's word as well about this, that they've been, working on the integrated healthcare services through technology. I hope my voice is clearly audible to everybody on the call.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So, yeah, before I deep dive into that, yes, Sanjay, we are very much a startup, as long as things just keep us, up on our foot to just solve problems. And we know that there are so many challenges still unsolved in the healthcare space. We are very much a startup and too early in the phase to be called a big company yet. So I'm Nikhil. As you just mentioned about me, I have been in the technology space for the last 8 years, and I've seen a gamut of different industries so far. Healthcare being one of the fields that when me and my co-founders sat down together and brainstormed on this problem, what really the gaps are, came out very strongly to us, which needs a strong technology integration, especially in the demographics of India, to be solved in an efficient manner and actually make healthcare a much affordable and accessible service across India. So, to introduce myself, yes, I have worked with software companies before, and right now I look after the entire product strategy and the ecosystem strategy at MedCords. MedCords is basically an artificial intelligence and machine learning enabled ecosystem, which is making healthcare accessible to 80% of Indian population, which does not have access to quality healthcare. And it is our mission to basically create an affordable and equitable ecosystem of healthcare, which can serve to the population that actually is in a great demand or great need of an affordable as well as a good quality healthcare. We are basically, so as a concept, MedCords is basically focusing on driving decisions out of data around medical or health of patients, consumers, and doctors to give a better experience and drive it through technology to make the overall experience seamless and affordable.
Great. Yes. Thanks for introducing this concept, Nikhil. Um, I mean, how do you see how do the people get to know MedCords? Like we have in Germany, we have a thing called medical insurance, which is one is private and one is public. That means that most of the people who are employed usually have a public health insurance, and if you are at a certain level of self-occupancy or a different statuses, you can opt for a private insurance. So people are usually born with a medical insurance in Germany.
Sure.
How do you see that in India? Like how would MedCords solve that issue that people actually have to take care, not only the parents, but actually you need to at some point in time also have a medical cover, as well as you have to take care of your own health as such.
Sure. Actually, a great point. So before I, answer that, I would actually, highlight one very important aspect. India in itself is a huge country to solve a problem like healthcare. Every state in India, varies drastically in terms of culture, its understanding, its literacy, and everything. So, it's not a one size fits all approach in India where you can solve a healthcare problem by saying that, hey, I have understood by looking at 10 customers and here is my solution and this will scale across India. No, not at all. And we've experienced that long times and, through multiple iterations. To best compare, Europe as such, a complete continent, would map to something like India in terms of the healthcare services that we are building. So it has to be very much understood in depth where and all the gaps were there in healthcare in India. And definitely, to the insurance point, I think India is one of the countries with the lowest healthcare insurance per capita. And people here just do not either have the literacy nor the financial strength to get insurance upfront. And many of them, so it's like the second biggest reason why poverty is very high in India, because people pay a lot out of their pockets for insurance and lose a lot on their healthcare services. So India does not really, it's not the fundamental practice here that families will take insurance, whether health or medical, in order to fulfill their medical needs. It's more or less on demand itself when they really realize it's needed, because there are a lot of other priority items for them to spend their money on livelihoods, that insurance or predictive or preventive healthcare is not that big a concept here. So it is very different here in those terms.
Yes, that's true. So, I mean, how did you come to this idea of, is it pan-Indian? So the service which you are talking about, which is based usually on machine learning and artificial intelligence, is it a pan-India platform? And how do you address, what were the challenges which you faced when you saw that the mindset is different? Every state is like, has some kind of a, I would say, speciality. Different cultures. In Europe, it's also complete mixture of different things. It has a basic standard, which is, I would say, Germany is taken or seen as a standard. How do you see that in India, and how did you face that challenge, if it was a challenge?
Okay, yeah. So the concept of MedCords, basically, we conceptualized when we actually. So MedCords, in best put, is a product of a research. We basically traveled across a lot of villages in India, especially across the 4 and the 5 major states in the northern belt of India, and saw a huge need, and we identified some key problems across different cultures and geographies. But these problems were similar. One of the key challenges was there was no medical record keeping amongst customer users, families, patients. We really saw that people did not just have knowledge or the understanding why medical history is important. And across the government hospitals, when we visited, and we saw that people did not have any understanding of their previous history, nor the caliber to explain it to the doctor in a very clear manner, which made the overall diagnosis process really difficult for a doctor. And with the kind of density of population per doctor here, we have somewhere around 10,000 to 1 patient-doctor ratio, which makes it super difficult for a doctor to pay an attention to a patient completely. And let alone if that information is not present, the doctor will not be able to diagnose you efficiently. And we saw that across all the places we visited in a period of a 3-year research. Secondly, we saw that, the healthcare is actually, the infrastructure of healthcare is actually located in pockets in India. It's not like, you will have a very uniform distribution of hospitals everywhere. Cities do have very good infrastructure, but the 80% population that actually resides around that is having a very poor or bleak infrastructure. For that, they have to travel to and fro to the city. And that's another huge expense for the users who are traveling to and fro and spending more money on logistics than on the actual healthcare experience. And the third part that we understood out of this as an interpretation was there is no data driven analysis of all these instances. If a geography has, let's say, more problems around stomach infections or problems coming out of water infection or pollution, there is no kind of track on that. And data analytics seemed a very plausible solution to identify how healthcare policies can be monitored or created, which will actually lead to a better utilization of a taxpayer's money. Right? We are paying taxes, users and citizens pay taxes for better healthcare services. But if healthcare services cannot be designed or the policies cannot be designed because information is not available, it makes it super difficult for them. So these three problems came out very strongly to us. The first level, we understood that in order to solve this long-term vision of solving healthcare through data, first has to be the medical history has to come on one single platform. How to get families to digitize and keep their medical history, because especially in India, people are not so tech savvy, right? The population living in villages does not really understand how to operate a smartphone. So we had to go to that grassroots level and understand the real challenges, how to get healthcare to them when they are not able to utilize the technology, and how do we make it affordable for them. Basis on that, we iterated and learned that our platform has to basically cater and like we have to bring our technology to them in a way where they do not have to deal with it, but still get the benefits of it. Right. So in order to quickly summarize on the healthcare, how did we start digitizing the medical information of customers? We basically identified that, India has around 1.2 million medical stores located across the country. And they have a relevant higher medical experience than the users living nearby. And we converted them to our health ambassadors and gave them an Android app in order to help the customers nearby digitize their medical history. And when I say that we are an ML-enabled platform, we understood that, like in Western countries, you'd see doctors using an electronic medical record systems where patient walks in and they feed in information into a laptop. That you cannot expect in India. Customers have to take care of their own data. They have to get that digital so that they can leverage the benefits of it. So we wanted to create something as easy as people using Instagram or Facebook or Twitter to click pictures and upload. So we made the app so simple that people just click pictures of their medical history and let our data science engines do the exercise of or the hard work of crunching out the right information and storing it in a way where doctors, when they open your profile, they can understand your medical history and your hereditary information of your family to drive at a better diagnosis for any problems that you might come to them whatsoever for.
So I would actually come back to this point a little later. I would like to ask a current situation. Like you have heard about this Corona app which is being developed here in Germany. Is there something similar in India where they are trying to locate Corona infected people very easily by offering an app which will allow you to actually come into if there is if there's someone in the vicinity who has a Corona, then the app will actually show and tell you to keep safe, kind of. That is one app which is being offered, and it has produced a lot of controversy because it's not, data protection is a big issue. So do you have something similar as a challenge in India, which you saw that your platform faced that kind of a, I would say, conflict situation?
Okay.
And how did Corona actually affect your business in the last few months?
Okay. Right. So taking the first question, in terms of data security, yes. So India does have an app called Arogya Setu, which is meant for data, understanding the proximity of any COVID infected patient. And yes, there were initial huge heat around, if the data is protected or if this information is being sold across. So we've had similar questions from users: how much our data is protected, and you're keeping our medical history on our platform. Is it safe and secure? So, that problem actually was a good problem to hear from customers when we learned that people are actually sensitive about their medical history. But the fundamental idea how we started this was very clear, that the medical data is like your fingerprint of your health, right? Whatever medical, so your body is very complex, and whatever medical test you do is having that information on that report, and it needs to be very private to your entire your identity. So a very key part of developing this technology platform was the security part of it, and our prior experience in data security company helped us to think around, how to make sure that medical history is very securely stored. And we built, AES encryption algorithms to just make sure that data was securely stored on our servers, uh, put in a proper check of data validations and authentications in order to expose the data to a stakeholder. Because what we have created is an ecosystem in which once you upload your medical history, it's under your complete discretion whether you want to expose it to a doctor, or when you want to just switch it off for a doctor's access. All that you have to do is tap on a button in the app, and your medical history gets open to the doctor that you wish to open it for, and close it instantly when you want to close it for. Nobody else apart from you can access your history without your permission. And that was one very important element that we've kept very pivoted on to make sure that health history does not get exposed. So far, in the period of 3 years since we started, we've got over 3 million customers on our platform, and over 4 million medical records are stored. And it spans across TBs of data where people have uploaded reports, prescriptions, x-rays, etc. But with the sole idea that whenever they next visit a doctor, their information should be readily available to the doctor, and they do not lose out money on getting repeat tests done just because they cannot find out their previous medical history. That's one, very strong validation we saw with the users. As per the corona part that you're mentioning, I think corona was a big testing time for the economy as such. And I think it came as a blessing for the healthcare in India, because although people faced a lot of issues, it actually opened them to the idea of teleconsultations and telemedicine. Because until then, nobody, like, I think a very less fraction of Indian customers actually thought about getting doctors on a call. They used mobile phones just as a calling medium or chatting medium. It was then when they realized, oh, this is possible, that you can even consult or take a service with a person like doctor on the phone, or even see a doctor on a phone and share your problems. I was reading this report the other day. It says that in the COVID times, around 50 million Indians actually went on to telemedicine, which is like a 500% jump. So you can imagine the amount of forced adoption COVID created, and a validation that came with that. So COVID, the biggest learning out of COVID for us was our business got validated much strongly. We were already making an impact, but we saw a highest adoption in the period of March and April. As soon as COVID struck India, we saw huge adoption across entire India. As in, we were actually operating in 5 or 6 states, but we saw consultations coming on from the southernmost states, the easternmost states, because consumers who were living in that segment identified our app as the most useful service that they could avail with a doctor.
So, is that service available also for Indians living abroad, or is it only useful in India?
As of now, only in India, because what we are trying to cater to is a population that really needs very strong support of health and healthcare services. But on the cards to expand it further and help people across India. So one interesting piece there is we even in India we identified that people work, like I live in a city with my parents and I leave my city to work in different city. My parents would need services around healthcare and I have to take care of them and I can't travel. So we built support around that, where anybody who is the caretaker of a family can manage their entire health, whether it's consultations or their need of medicines, remotely from our app. They don't need to be physically present or take any action. So it makes remote healthcare easily possible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would like to actually know also a little bit about how you built the startup. Did you get any government support, kind of startup funding, or you managed everything privately? One thing, and second thing, are there any programs which are similar to your service, which are offered by the government?
Okay.
Like you said, mentioned Arogya Setu, that is kind of, I would say, a contact point. Do you see something similar which is being offered by the Indian government, like MedCords?
Right. So actually, a very good question and a very big question to answer. Actually, the government this Independence Day, they organized the National Digital Health Mission, which was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He said that every single Indian will have a digital health identity, and your entire health history will remain on that. That was the time, the day I got so many calls from my friends and people who know us and said that, hey, isn't this what you guys are working on? And it was a huge validation. Like, we had a head start of 3 years where what we had envisaged about India, where healthcare can only be solved if you have good understanding of data, we are working in the right direction. We are actually solving the core problem. It's not a luxurious problem to solve, it's a necessity to solve, and we are solving it right. It was a huge validation at that aspect, right? And we actually work very closely with the NTHM team, and also help them understand in parallel to us building it, how we have solved the problem so far, what were the challenges they might actually face in the process, and we understood certain things from them very closely. So yes, collaborations are happening continuously as we speak. In terms of other things that government has done, yes, telemedicine was a concept, but it was not officially, validated, which happened after Corona because people could not move out of their houses and they had to actually consider consulting with doctors remotely. And our model was very well placed at that time because what we understood was healthcare, like medical consultations with a doctor, can only be solved if you have an understanding of your health history. Otherwise, just going on a call with the doctor and telling them problems on a call might definitely lead you to missing out on information. And since every single patient had a digital health history on our platform, all he had to do was just fill in certain questions, and the entire health history in a subjective manner could be understood by a doctor to drive a diagnosis. And that is what has led to a very good consultation experience of doctors and patients on the platform, because health history has proven to be the mantra of success for a good telemedicine experience. To the first part that you mentioned, yes, we've been very lucky to get backed by very good investors from a very initial stage, because what we are building really shows an impact. We first got incubated by Startup Oasis, which is a government-run incubator in Rajasthan, with the city where we started. We stayed very close to our target market in order to always keep sight of what we are solving and it's right in direction. So we started in a city called Kota in Rajasthan, and then gradually scaled across different states. But that's where we also got incubated under startup Oasis, which is run by the government of Rajasthan. Secondly, then when we scaled across, we got awarded by the union government as a best healthcare solution for a smart city. So around 130 cities in India are getting upgraded to smart cities, which with advanced technologies and technology enabled services. So in the healthcare segment, they identified us as a solution who was solving a very key problem of getting health history of citizens digital. So we had converted it for the city where we started completely for the customers, and we did get a huge recognition by the union government for solving this problem right. Going forward, we also got awarded by WhatsApp. WhatsApp organized a great event in India where they said all the impact startups would come and pitch, and we were one of the 5 startups out of 1,700 startups in India that got awarded for the impact that we are making. Apart from that, on the journey, yes, we've had reputed investors like InfoEdge, Waterbridge, A-Star Ventures, RVCF, who have invested in us over the period of last 3 years.
Thanks a lot for sharing this detailed information, Nikhil. We have not so much time, but I would also like to have people exchanging their thoughts and whatever inspiration we can take from your discussion or talk with you. Do you have any special message for the German startups as such, or Indo-German startups? Have you ventured into this domain before?
Not really. I've been very much focused in the problem that we've been solving and in Indian ecosystem. We do definitely compare how healthcare models work across different countries. But I can definitely, in terms of healthcare, I have one very clear belief that I see. And it just does not apply to India. It does apply to every single country that is solving healthcare, because see, human bodies are very complex machinery, and healthcare has to solve that problem. So definitely, nobody can solve healthcare single-handedly. No company tomorrow can come and say, hey, I have the entire gamut of services I can give to my users, and I can say that I've solved healthcare here. Healthcare will always be a collaborative play. Companies, startups will identify different kind of problems in healthcare, because every single service has to be very tailor-made. It has to be very personalized. That then only your customer will accept, because he's taking that service for himself. whether be it telemedicine, whether be it online medicine delivery, whether be it home healthcare, anything that you pick, diagnostics, anything. So it will always be a collaborative play, and it will be always more effective that way when multiple startups or bigger startups, smaller startups will join hands together and bring the entire comprehensive services for their customers. Then only healthcare can see it's getting solved very effectively in any particular country.
Right. Yes, thanks a lot. So, I mean, let's take any questions if there are, because since we are running out of time, what is your next step, like next vision of after post COVID? Let us say, I mean, it is not
Yes,
yet post
absolutely.
COVID, but that will be my
Yeah,
last question to you. Sorry. Yes.
I would have had a very, well prepared answer had this been discussed pre-COVID. COVID has taught us a lot of things. For COVID, yes, definitely, we've had a lot of learnings and we've understood that, okay, what we are building is right. The next step for the next few years for MedCords is very clear. We would want to continue building this service strength for the customers that we are solving for. We've got a strong validation. We are continuously building our data science machinery and models to understand our customers better and give them much more personalized services. At this point of time, I think the best solution will be to get the teleconsultations and hyperlocal delivery of medicines to be solved right, so that customers who, since easy movement will not happen for the next few years very clearly, it is very important that people get good healthcare services wherever they live and do not have to travel and risk their lives for the same.
Okay. I see a couple of questions coming up. I myself had one more last one. How do you see the digitalization problem? Like, is that an issue? The I mean, the bandwidth and all such things, are this an issue to your platform? Because I mean, Germany is also upgrading to 5G, and I don't know about India how the network is, but what do you see as a limitation there, or how it can be solved?
I'm just glad that this question came up. I was not expecting some question like that. Yes, it was definitely a challenge, especially, with the pockets in which we were solving these problems. We saw internet ranging to 2G till 4G. And we had to build the app in such a way that no medical data, when it gets uploaded, gets lost. So we had to, tweak a lot of, our engineers worked a great deal to ensure that, the app is robust and resilient to that fact that, okay, internet might drop off in the middle. So whenever any customer tries to click their pictures and upload, we should not have any loss of information and make sure that data securely gets secured on the cloud and the customer gets a feedback that his history is completely secured now. So yes, we did have to put considerable effort in the engineering there to ensure that medical data loss could be avoided at all stages.
Right. I have one more question here in the chat window. That Do you see that people are retaining themselves on the platform, and how much traction and reusability of the platform is there? How easy is it for rural people to use this platform, or how you guys support them to put in their data? I mean, you answered a little bit of this one, but this is more specific to how you are helping such issues, solve those
Right.
issues. Yes.
So yes, definitely we're seeing a very strong retention because the target audience for which we have solved this problem did not ever have any digital touch point for healthcare. So in India, it's a very true statement to say that, you have to win the trust of a customer to make him a customer. What we built what we built ourselves around was earning their trust. That yes, we are the go-to platform for health for anything that they need. And the time when they went digital with a smartphone, the first thing that they understood around health was us. So when they came on our app, they really understood a problem being solved, and it has been a true testimony to the fact that people who come to our platform and take a consultation end up buying a year-long subscription. I think for a business, that's the biggest validation. That yes, you have built the right service where customer is ready to pay upfront for your service, and for the segment that we are building it across, we kept the economy such affordable that people did not see it as a challenge at all. On our platform, you can just take a consultation with the doctor, I think at half a euro. If the conversion rate is around 80 rupees, yes, you can take it under half a euro with a doctor. So that's the affordability, and the traction is very huge because, we do understand that 80% of Indian population needs that, which is, 800 million users. In terms of the rural users, as you mentioned, yes. So we had built a support system with the medical stores where medical stores could help these people who could not use technology to get their medical history digitized by clicking pictures of their medical records. So yes, it has been a comprehensive platform, a 360-degree coverage for any user who, irrespective of their literacy or technology understanding, can avail the equitable services on our platform.
Mhm. So, in reference to that, there is a question from audience. It says that thanks for stepping in and offering such a service which India really needs. Who exactly is your customer and who pays you? Especially if I consider the rural sector, are they ready to pay for this service?
Yeah, so I think in the earlier days when we went to investors and pitched them, they had the same belief that hey, rural users will pay or not. I think the best part that we knew was because of our research, where we understood that we just consider rural population poor, but it's not that they do not have the services available to them. There is a propensity to pay, and they can only pay for services that they can see and trust upon. And when I say rural, it's not a black and white thing. It's just about being urban and not so urban,
Mhm.
right? It's not like rural and urban, but it's like I'm not just urban enough. I'm not living in a metro where I have the luxury of ordering pizza at home and gamut of things like that. But I do need very basic services like healthcare to have good clean drinking water, food, etc. So people do have a propensity to pay. That's not at all a challenge. They just need to trust your service enough and believe that they will not be, there'll be no fraud company coming in and just taking away their money. So
Mhm.
we've seen a very strong validation, and that has not ever been a challenge to us since the start, that people would not consider paying for our services.
Okay. Have you appointed someone like pharma representatives, something like MedCords representatives to, expand your network, doctors
Yeah.
and pharmacists, etc.?
Okay, so I think for us, what worked well was we never had to go to doctors, because since patients came onto our platform organically, doctors knew that their patients are here and they had every reason to join our platform, right? So our journey from 0 to 1 did have a lot of hacks in the earlier days. But as soon as we validated ourselves in the last 2 years, we've not seen us reaching out to doctors and asking them to join our platform. They know their customers are on our platform, their patients are on the platform. So it makes just a logical sense for them to come on our platform and then handle their customers or patients there, because they get everything. It's a win-win for the doctors. They get their customer, the patient health history on the platform, and they're able to write a prescription very fast with our ML-enabled technology. So for a doctor, it hardly takes 30 seconds to write a prescription for his platform for his patient in a very elaborative manner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There was a previous question in the chat window, is something similar to GDPR being worked upon in India? I think you partly answered this question before. And uh, is there something similar to GDPR in India? I think you
So
already mentioned
yeah,
that, but if you would like to enhance anything to that.
I think I just say that India did not really have any compliance in healthcare data, but yes, there are telemedicine guidelines put in now, which is most importantly the thing to follow, because ultimately quality of service will all matter on how critical you are about data privacy, the quality of service you are offering to your customers, and the authenticity of your service. So if those pieces are taken care of, yes, you are building the right solution. India still does not have a very robust guidelines around health data privacy, which is under the making right now and will be materialized in next few years, and or the earliest in the, by the next year.
Right, right, right. Okay. So yes, I think I'm done through the questions at least, and I'm very happy that you joined and shared all these experience with us. I don't know if there is any more questions coming up, but we are also heading towards the time. So
Sure, absolutely.
thank you very much, Nikhil, for
Pleasure was all mine. I really enjoyed
taking time out, and please do send us a, feeler of how MedCords is developing in future.
it. Sure,
Maybe we can invite you again after the COVID times, how it has grown beyond COVID, I would say.
sure.
Also, that you could be the beginning session today with healthcare, which is the most important part of our
We all know how
lifestyle.
important it is now, right?
It is very, very important, yes. In specifically when people are really worried about their health due to corona times, the insecurities there. Maybe you should go and check out that corona app which is developed here. It
Sure,
could help you in understanding how the mindset here is. I would like to thank at this point also, in point in time, the Consulate General of India in Munich. We had a great support from them in initiating this activity last year. We relaunched this platform called Indian Entrepreneurs Forum, and also Pallavi Mishra, who came today and also openly just offered support and from FICCI, which is unique, I think, which is very unique to India. I feel that this is a very big activity which can help Indian entrepreneurs, specifically living abroad, to get access to Indian network as well as support from that side. So thank you again, Pallaviji, and of course to my colleagues who helped me actually and also gathered this platform to happen today. Ashutosh also, and Rohit, who helped Savaradeep as a team to get this done. Yes, thanks a lot, all of you, and hope to see you soon again on this platform or in one of these Inder talk sessions soon again. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.